In Iraq, years of sanctions and violence have taken their toll on the education system, which seems to be on the verge of collapse. In the last year alone, student attendance has dropped from 75% to 30%. Dr. Falah Hassan graduated from Al-Mustansiriya in the year 2000. He's now returned as a professor of Arabic language. He says it's a changed world.
There
is no comparison between then and now. We are living through a period where education is at its lowest level in most of Iraq's universities. At Al-Mustansiriya, we suffer from overcrowded conditions. The university cannot take more than 10,000 students, but this number keeps doubling.
A second-year student in the Faculty of Arts, Hisham is struggling to get through this year's finals. The stress of exams is compounded by the pressure of surviving the chaos of daily life in Baghdad and supporting his parents.
We have finals on the 23rd of June. We take a week off before, so I go to the shop in the morning, then study from 2 to 6, then work from 6 to 9, then study again until 12. I start all over the next day. We suffer. There is no electricity, and it's difficult if you want to open a book or read.
And in Iraq, the threat of violence is ever present.
I worry about explosions. When I am in traffic on my way from the house to the school, you are always exposed to explosive devices when you're on the road.
The students don't come in because of security reasons, roadblocks or traffic jams, sometimes because they were forced out of their homes. And this, of course, affects the level of education the students receive.
Professors and teachers are also on the front line. Many have been victims of targeted attacks. Even more have fled to neighboring countries to seek a better life.
You know that lots of the professors left the profession for both security and financial reasons. That's a well-known fact. And we cannot change this reality unless we change the reasons behind it. Professors need to be supported financially and their security guaranteed so that the talented ones return.
Normality is hard to come by in war zones, but behind the concrete barricades of Al-Mustansiriya, Hisham and his friends managed to steal a few moments of it.
University is about education, but at the same time, you get to hang out with your friends and relax. In Iraq, there are no fun places to go, so we can only do that at school.
In Afghanistan, too, education has been chosen as a battleground. Here it is a war of values, a war that has been raging unceasingly for the past 30 years. Today, it's reaching a new intensity. In the past year, more than 140 teachers and students have been killed. And even while we've been filming here this week alone, we've learnt that 30,000 children have been prevented from going to school in the Ghazni province because of threats against their lives.
What do we do in order to protect our children, our teachers and our schools? Unfortunately, the number of attacks this year has increased dramatically. Over the past 4 months, my casualty rate has gone up to 50% of the previous year. The security establishment of the country is doing its best to protect the schools, but unfortunately, targeting schools, teachers and school children has become a central part of the new tactics of the terrorists. So our ability to protect every child, every teacher and every school is unfortunately limited.
In Logar province, just an hour away from the capital Kabul, there is a particularly grotesque example of the Taliban's campaign against education. The Kalai Sayadan school has been protected by armed guards since it was attacked by gunmen in 2007. Schoolgirls, were the specific target. A teacher and 6 students were shot. 2 of the girls died.
When we were leaving school that day, I saw 2 people sitting on a motorcycle in front of me. One of them had a helmet, and he took out his gun and pointed it at me. Then the cleaner at the school told us to throw ourselves down into the field. I ran into the wheat, and they opened fire at me. I don't know what happened next. I realized these people don't like school. They don't want people to learn. They are bad, and they want to make others as bad as they are.
Razia, now aged 13, was leaving school with her sister, Shukriya, when the gunman attacked.
When we came out of school, the motorcycle rider shot at our teacher. She ran away, and then they shot the other students. One girl was injured, another girl in 12th grade was killed. Then they shot my sister. I picked her up. She tried to stand, but then she fell again, and I ran home.
Razia's father says that the death of Shukriya has broken his back.
I lost everything. Everything in my heart was wiped clean. It was like taking a knife and scraping the pain that was there before and replacing it with this overwhelming new pain.
Since the murder of her sister, Razia's family has been reluctant to send her back to school.
I have been too afraid since I saw my daughter bring home her martyred sister in her arms. And every time she sees a motorcycle, her heart stops.
The Afghanistan government sees Islamic religious schools, the madrasas, as a way of countering the influence of Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. The governments in both Kabul and Washington see militant madrasas in Afghanistan and across the border in Pakistan as potential training centers for terrorists. Yet madrasas are the only schools available in some areas of Afghanistan. So as a way of working against what it considers to be an education of hatred, Afghanistan's Ministry of Education is using legislation to broaden the madrasa curriculum so that it includes maths, science and language, as well as study of the Quran.
It's part of our policy that new madrasa system with a broad-based curriculum will have to be established in this country so that we once again revive the glory of Islamic education, and at the same time to say no to the hate madrasas across the border, and basically keep our children inside the country and provide them with broad-based and value-based education.
In Logar province, the ministry has invited 200 religious teachers to take an exam which will qualify them to work under the new state system. This qualification will allow them to teach not only in specialist madrasas, but in state schools as well. Worryingly, even here, doubts are expressed about the value-based education the minister has in mind.
Our culture, Pashtun culture, is entirely Islamic. Whatever guidance we have from Sharia law, we will follow that. But we cannot accept Western culture. If a woman teaches and she observes the Islamic culture, then we respect her. But if she rolls up her sleeves against Islamic Sharia, and if she wears makeup or wears flimsy clothes, then that is not Islamic. I say this because some women want equal rights, the rights in Western culture.